where our panel of industry experts will explore the evolution of unified communication, trends in cloud-based video conferencing systems, AI revolution in communication, challenges and opportunities, security and data privacy, user experience and accessibility, and integration with emerging technologies. I would like to call our moderator on stage, Rohan Tadke, Managing Director, RTAV, along with the panelists, Grifiths, Zachariah, AVP, EMEAIO, Sales and Global Alliances at ClearOne, Abhishek Pratap Singh, National Product Head, EdTech, PeopleLink, Unified Communications, Manu Sharma, Territory Sales Manager, India and SAARC, and Mayank Jani, CEO, MNT Infovision and NANTA Tech Private Limited. Before we start off the session, I would like to introduce our panelists. Rohan Tadke is a seasoned AV professional with 20 years of industry experience. He has now launched his own venture, RTAV, which aims to connect global manufacturers with the Indian market. Rohan focuses through RTAV will span across corporate, education and healthcare sectors. Abhishek Pratap Singh, Head of Product Management at PeopleLink Unified Communications Private Limited, is a strategic game player. His dedication and innovative ideas are among the founding stones for the success recorded by the company. Grifiths Zachariah brings over 2 decades of experience in the Pro AV industry, currently serving as Associate VP for the EMEAIO region at ClearOne. Throughout his career, Grifiths has collaborated with numerous systems integration firms and manufacturers overseeing large-scale projects. Mayank Jani, professional and tech enthusiast with 14 years of experience specializing in AI robotics and AV-IT networking. His expertise and innovative approach has earned the companies the recognition of SME Company of the Year, Most Innovative Company Award, and Ahmedabad Business Excellence Awards. Also, Manu Sharma is a goal-oriented professional with nearly 26 years of experience in developing comprehensive strategies focused on achieving breakthrough sales objectives while creating winning strategies and managing complex business relationships. I would now request the panelists to start the session.
Hello. Good evening, everybody, and thank you, Ritika, for the wonderful introduction. So today we are here to talk about the evolution of the unified collaboration and video conferencing technologies with industry experts out here who are my friends. And I believe all of us who are present here know how the evolution has happened from the days of the emails to telephony, and finally, at a time where you can practically see each other right across the table. So without further ado, I'm going to just give a quick introduction about the friends that I have on my panel here today. So the first one right next to my left is Abhishek Pratap Singh. He's the product head at PeopleLink. Next to him, I have Grifiths Zachariah, a man who needs no introduction in the Indian market. He's the AVP, EMEA and Oceania at ClearOne. I have Mayank Jani from NANTA Technologies. It's an AV integration company in Ahmedabad. He heads that company. He's the managing director. And Manu Sharma, who's from NEET. He's a sales head for India and the SAARC region. So the things that we are trying to achieve through this panel discussion here is more about how UC has evolved over a period of time. What have been the things that have changed? What are the challenges that at end user and even as manufacturers we are facing day in and day out? So let me set the context straight here for the discussions that we are going to have. There are a set of questions that we are going to have even for the audience here. So just give us some time and we'll hand over the mic to you in case you have any burning questions. Please make a note of it. So we are going to talk about the evolution of unified communication. And so Griffith, what is your say on it? You've been in the industry for over 20 years. And I think right from your initial days with an integration company till date, how do you see the evolution?
The unified communication, as you say, it is the unified communication and collaboration sort of thing that has evolved, starting from the days of telephony to the hardware-based video conferencing, and then the software side of things. And our computing systems has increased its capacity and processing power so that it can handle audio and video processing from any device, starting from your mobile devices to open source platforms. And lately, I would say the trigger that has happened in the last 4 years has been a great kickstart for enabling cloud-based video conferencing and bringing it to a hybrid model. So the hybrid model is going to stay here at some capacity, whether you're working from home or from office, and also the technology demands that's going to stay here. I mean, you need some sort of technology that can deliver that flexible collaboration experience in both conditions. So the hybrid is the latest one as part of evolution that I see. And of course, I'm sure we'll get into the depth of it, but that's the initial introduction that I want to say.
Fantastic. So, on that note of the hybrid technologies, I think, Manu, you have, seen the days right from your Polycom career till now, wherein, everything is all-in-one kind of a scenario. So, what is your take on the hybrid technologies?
Yeah, so, no, not from my Polycom days, even earlier also from my Microsoft days. So, I've seen the silos where email was a silo, and then phone was a silo, and then video conferencing, chat, everything was a silo, evolving into one unified communication piece, which we know now, and we are actually extrapolating it to the hybrid world. So now you have a single platform where you do your chat, your email, and you can take the same conversation to the video conferencing. You can have one-to-one video conferencing. You can have one-to-many video conferencing. And then you can include rooms as well as individuals sitting in office or outside office. So basically, what we have seen in the last 20 years approximately has been the integration of messaging. Messaging could be verbal or it could be video. And from there on, taking it from your laptop to now to rooms and to the hybrid world. So it's been quite a leap for all of us here.
So, on that note, I think, Abhishek, PeopleLink has been one company that, has started off this revolution way back. And, I believe you would have seen a lot of things that you're into. Would you mind sharing your thoughts on it?
All right. So this is something which is interesting. I can definitely recall the days, good old days, when the technology of video conferencing was all which was coming from the West. It was all majorly hardware, and it was all fixed structures. So we had a concept of fixed rooms which were used for dedicated video conferencing. Now what we saw is during that time, 2007, is the time when PeopleLink came up with software-based video conferencing. It was really hard. It was really hard for us to convince the people who were already looking at a very tangible entity which was in the form of a physical entity. And software was something which was very new to them. But we were competing against Skype, which was free of cost. So to be looking at a business model where you are trying to come out with a new technology, where the recipients are not aware of it, and at the same time competing with something which is freely available in the market, was a real challenge. But then I think that is the time when we kept really strong, because we had thought that the software is going to take over the technology piece of things. And that is where our journey started. And I think we have witnessed that thing happening over the years, where players have come, players have gone. The hardware technology had to forcefully get into software. That was the need of it, which was, I think, driven by COVID majorly.
Right. So, Mayank, I mean, as an integration company, you have seen the good old days, as Abhishek rightly mentioned, about a tangible asset like a video conferencing camera and, your codecs and stuff like that. What do you think, and how has it helped you as an integration company, to evolve and grow with the technology?
Yeah, so when we have started working on the audio video, earlier it used to be point-to-point connectivity that used to be in major organization. So you need dedicatedly end device, you need dedicatedly front devices to tell the video conferencing. But now we are seeing that that point-to-point is almost gone. Everywhere it's you can get any hardware, any good make hardwares, and on the software you can run all your applications. So the total the industry has been changed. And the future, what we are looking at, is going to be even smaller and smaller devices, all-in-one devices into the video conferencing side, and better software. So that's going to be future for integration sides. For us now, it is majorly focused on the what customer demands, right, and with the flexibility.
Right. So when you talk about software, I think Abhishek mentioned a very important point that initially a lot of people were very hesitant about using software because they could see something tangible in a form of a codec and stuff like that. So on that note, when we talk about things that are on the cloud right now, Griffith, what do you think about it? We are talking so much about the VC technologies in the cloud. People are asking for cloud solutions at all times.
So cloud is, so as the rate of adoption of internet over a period of time, and as I mentioned earlier, the capability of compute engines and your processing speed that you can handle data or at a time that is exponentially increased. Even though I'm sure some of my panelists may disagree with me, still connectivity is still a challenge in certain part of the country, but at least the tier 1, tier 2 cities are pretty well connected, and you're able to conduct video conferencing over a period of time. So I would say the data speed has definitely helped for the adoption of cloud-based technologies, and you're able to handle the audio and video at a synchronized model at a low frame rate or at a low, there are certain compression technologies which has evolved over a period of time, can do variable bit rate or those sort of technologies that has contributed to the adoption of these technologies. Now, of course, that is moving into the AI side of things. I'm sure that is part of your questionnaire. I'm not jumping there. But yeah, cloud technologies is the way forward. Having said that, I don't want to deny the fact when you say cloud, it's going to be a public cloud or private cloud. When those questions are still around there, which will arise due to security or privacy or whatever concerns are that needs to be addressed by a particular organization. So yeah, cloud again has got its own flavors and variants. So yeah, I would stop it there.
So you mentioned two important things here, Griffith, security and AI, which actually brings me to my next question. And Manu, if you may just give us a little bit insights about these two technologies, majorly cloud and AI, that a lot of end users today are looking to have, but they may or may not know what's the right approach to adopt these technologies.
All right. See, from a cloud standpoint, right now we work with two platforms, and there are many platforms available on cloud from an enterprise standpoint. From a individual user standpoint, you have Google Meet and you have WhatsApp and other freely available software.
Right.
But from an enterprise standpoint, as you said, and Griffith was also mentioning that security is also a big concern for them. So therefore, people try to work with the known companies, for example, PeopleLink or Microsoft or Zoom for that matter. So those companies, they build security around their platforms, which is very important for the enterprise customer. From an AI standpoint, AI can be put to use in many ways. For example, at Need, we put AI to use in form of video experience that we deliver to the end customer. For example, the cameras that we use, the cameras capture the entire room as such, as a raw picture. But the AI, that intelligence inbuilt into the software, deciphers the human bodies or the human figures in that picture, and then those human bodies are actually zoomed and divided into equal frames, which we call as symmetry. So if there are 5 people in the room, there'll be 5 frames. If there are 8, 10, 15, we can go all the way to 25 people. And those are the frames that will get relayed to the far end. So AI can be put to use in many ways, including audio and video. This is just one example.
Right. So Abhishek, when you talk about AI, like, he mentioned about AI having its own advantages. Where do you see, the AI technology moving forward?
All right. So as far as the AI is concerned, it is at times very difficult to identify the direction of where the technology is moving, but at the same time it is predictable. So what we have seen in our product journey is we are basically into communication, and the best form of communication is probably the physical communication that we do, where you can actually look at a lot of non-verbal cues and you can try to decipher a lot of things which are going on. So if you eventually look all the technologies which we are talking about on here, they are all leading the virtual technology to be going as close as to the physical face-to-face conversations. So that's something which is predictable if we look at it from a bigger picture. And that is what I think in the AI it is happening, where the videos are getting better in terms of quality, so that you say travel could be reduced. The lags, the latency is something which is getting controlled. You're trying to do a lot of things in the form of automation. So basically you talk and all the things are summarized. That could be one thing which is leading to that. The language is something which I think a lot of AI and ML models are working on, where there is a direct conversion into the language that the recipient understands. So there are these kind of things which are there, which are not only being adopted by the software players, but also the hardware is, I think, evolving to it to get these things done.
A very valid point that you make. It's the experience. I think Manu has to add something there.
I just wanted to add something on the voice front also. So, for example, AI, a lot of work is being done from an experience standpoint in a room-based scenarios where the room is long, and mostly what happens is that because the mics are not properly placed, there's an issue of echo. So people hear back their sound on the far side. So people hear two sound. So a lot of work is happening on the AI front, so that the machine understands that the second sound that they're getting is basically the second is the echo. So they cancel the echo cancellation, or the noise cancellation. Everything is basically the work that is being put in from an AI perspective.
I couldn't agree more, because at ISC last year I visited ClearOne stall, and they have done a fantastic work out there. With the echo cancellation and stuff like that.
They're pioneers for beamforming microphone.
Of course, of course. So Mayank, a quick question to you in terms of, the cloud and the AI, and we'll wrap up that question right here. From an integration company's perspective, the cloud-based video conferencing, the AI, how does it help you? Because, when back in the good old days with the tangible assets and the cameras and the codecs and, all the technology that we had, from an integration perspective, was that a much better era for you, or you think this is helping you more as a company?
Yeah, so the thing about AI is, it is going to be make everyone's life easy, if you understand it well. So for example, into our segment, video conferencing segment or a collaboration segment, so as Manu rightly said that, you have a small mic into the room, and with the AI technology, they can pick up if someone is speaking from the audience. You don't need to put a lots of mics over there and you have to cover the entire room. It is not going to be there when you are able to find the solution towards it. So for us, for the integrator point of view, the implementation is going to be much easier once the AI is fully developed. As far as the video is also concerned, and as far as the audio is also concerned, experience is also concerned, because it is going to be as near as you are there into the room. And into the same segment, robotics, we are working in the robotics with the brand of robotics. So in robotics also is going to be a major part, where right now the limitation, or you can say we see fixed devices. You have a display and you can see on the display when you have a moving things which is as good as moving like a human, then the experience will be the next level with the combination of AI.
Nice. So again, I would like to continue with you, because you are the one who's facing most of the brunt once the sale is done. So what are the major challenges that you see in terms of the UCVC infrastructure that is built by organizations?
Yeah, so the most important challenge is the bandwidth. You know, if you get a very high quality, so you are going higher and higher. Right now you are giving 4K, cameras and very high-end mic. But if you don't have the bandwidth, you are not able to transfer it to the other level. So bandwidth is again a big challenge. Right now, metros or tier 1, tier 2 cities has the bandwidth, but is yet to go to the village level. So that is the number one challenge. And the another challenge which is going to be very big in the future is the security. As this is going to penetrate more and more, you are going to have a security threat also with lots of, even with the AI also, there is a positive also, negative also. With the AI, there can be the deep fake, there can be the voice repetition and anything like that. So these are the two big challenges we are seeing that, is going to be there for the VC.
So, Griffith, where do you see the opportunities? What are the more opportunities that, from an end user perspective, from an OEM perspective, we can look at in terms of the UCVC technologies?
I will definitely come to that question, but I want to add a little bit data into the AI side of things. The latest, I'm sure the audience here are pretty much familiar with things that has been happening with noise reduction headphones, and I think many people are familiar with how noise reduction techniques help to improve your quality of life and what you listen and how you want to listen. And there are trained models of different environments, how you can adapt. So those adaptive noise cancellation or noise reduction techniques are already in place. One of the latest trends I've been reading the last week was, see, for example, if you're in a noisy place, if you're in an airport or in a restaurant or a cafe, and if you're trying to attend a communication call, there are technologies out there where it can detect the lifestyle sounds and can cancel those. But there's been another leap that has happened to that industry particularly is now there are AI noise reduction techniques available based on an individual trained audio. For example, I'll be able to put in or feed in my personal trained data so that the noise reduction can precisely work to eliminate things that are not my audio, which is not part of my audio signal. So the AI noise reduction or the sound or the voice techniques are improving and at a much faster rate, and adoption of those technologies are again happening in the cloud, not on the device level. Of course, you need devices, those are capable of creating those intelligent meeting experience. And audio is, of course, as I know someone selling audio conferencing for a number of years, we say you can't do a video conference or a meeting without audio. You can still do that without video, but video is a critical part of your decision making and productivity today. Now, coming back to your question on what's opportunity, I was going through a research, a very well-known company in the global level. What they have predicted at 2022, the total addressable market for the video conferencing devices was about 3 billion, and now that is, by 2027, that's going to be around 7 billion in the North America alone. And from an Indian perspective, that is pretty much a 200 million jumping to 700 million in another 3 years. That is a massive increase. So with a compound annual growth rate of 15%, these are some of the predictions made by some of the industry research analysts. But I'm sure India has a history of breaking the records or the predictions for that matter. So I'm sure the total addressable market or the opportunities are much, much wider and broader than we see today.
Thank you for enlightening us, with those figures right here. Very inspiring. And I'm looking forward to see the ClearOne products with, a lot of AI capabilities. On that note, Abhishek, what do you want to add to, what the other panelists have said so far?
So I think before we move forward, I would again like to talk about Mayank's point where he talked about the bandwidth as a challenge. So now there is technology which is available. We ourselves have been working on that technology where Grifiths talk about a lot of encryption in the data. So what we have been able to achieve is a very small story. That's something which I would like to talk about. This was, I think, the launch of National Optical Fiber Network program by India. And it had started in the village of Idukki in Kerala. There's a very small village called Idamalakudi. I might be pronouncing it wrong, but then pretty close to that. All right. So that's a village where there's absolutely no infrastructure, and government wanted to put the first NOFN project there, and we were proudly a part of that program. And it was a proud moment because it was the launch of video conferencing over NOFN, and also at the same time, it was the launch of BSNL line. So the electronics minister, he wanted to make a BSNL phone call, and at the same time, we were doing a video call. The chances of us failing was probably the highest, because video is something which definitely consumes more data. But it was surprising for us that before the BSNL could get connected, we were able to connect to the remotest part of the country over a video link. So that's something which is possible. Yes, it might be a restriction, but then we have the necessary technology which is right there in the country.
Fantastic.
To come out of that. And apart from that, I think as far as we are talking about the AI picture of it, yes, it is growing. It comes with its own kind of downsides, which would be in the form of the data security, which is something which is there. But what we have seen is, I think, pretty much today, all the countries, they have very stringent laws of data security around them. As a matter of fact, it was always talked about GDPR, HIPAA. These were the regular terms which everybody used to talk about. And very recently, India has come out with their own public privacy laws which are there. So that is something which is making a major strand in this. And I think if all the companies who are working on this technology can stick to the framework which is there, we'll be able to eliminate a lot of such risk in future. We may not be able to close it entirely, but yeah, we can curb it.
Thank you for your, on what, something related to what Griffiths said, it makes me laugh at all the times, and something related to the bandwidth as well. Whenever we are doing a Zoom call, यार वीडियो बंद कर दो यार बराबर नेटवर्क नहीं है so coming back to what is more important, the audio and video, I mean, I personally think both of them are equally important, and I think with the right bandwidth we should be able to get there. So Manu, the next question to you, we have spoken about cloud, we've spoken about AI, we've spoken about all the implementation that can be done. What is your say about the security? I think, Abhishek rightly mentioned about the protocols that are coming up. What do you think?
We are, as such, we are a device company, so we are at the edge side. The platform is run by companies like Microsoft or Zoom or PeopleLink, for that matter. But of course, security is very important, and more enterprise customers are choosing a platform which can also provide security to the larger IT infrastructure of theirs. So there's where Microsoft is actually getting more popular than other platforms. That's what we are seeing, I mean, as an observer, as I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Griffith, what do you think about it?
So we all remember during the pandemic, there have been unhappy or not really good incidents reporting where people were bombing video conference calls, and but companies have taken measures to prevent or overcome those challenges as and when they arise. And however, and then that brings to the question of data privacy, and there are organizations, especially the government and the public sector companies, they would want to make sure their data stays within the country, within the server. I mean, for whatever reasons, that is for the regulation matters. I'm aware of companies that mention about whether it is Microsoft or Zoom or PeopleLink, or all of them have kind of complied to those regulation requirements, so that those security and privacy concerns are getting addressed on a daily basis. But I don't think I think it's ever going to be an open or a ever-growing discussion in that sector. It's never going to end. But the good thing is there are opportunities for public cloud, as I mentioned earlier, and also private cloud. So there are options available to take advantage of both.
Manu, you want to add something to that?
I was just like to add here that Microsoft, Google, and all these companies now have data centers, huge data centers in India. So all the domestic data, as per the government regulation, sits in India. So that change has happened, and more data center capacity is being built over a period of time. I have a question for Abhishek.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on, we are now getting, India would be having satellite bandwidth companies like Starlink, and I think Bharti is also coming up with a satellite broadband service, which will not require a last mile. Directly you can hook onto the cloud. So how do you see the throughput and the video service evolving once that satellite service is available?
So I think, Manu, in this, it is going to be, I'll be taking you back to around 2014, where we started working with the NIC in the country, and they had satellite connectivity options which were there. So during that time, we were able to do it. There was latency, yes, it was something which was
the VSAT. They had the VSAT.
That was a VSAT.
Yeah, but that bandwidth was very small.
Exactly. So
the throughput was very small.
We have explored that. We have taken the technology to the remotest parts. Now with Starlink or any other thing which is coming up, it is not going to matter much, because the very fundamental change which has happened in video conferencing was, earlier it was all about static IPs. It was one dedicated IP which was sitting, which could be treated as your address. But now it is all about variable bandwidths, because everybody is on broadband these days. Everybody is on mobile data these days. So technology has changed itself, and we are very much capable of managing the future which is going to come up in the form of bandwidth. So rest assured.
Abhishek, on that note, I just wanted to ask you, which is the toughest question with regards to security that as an organization you have faced at PeopleLink? So you've gone to a client and he says, no, I can't do it. So what has been the toughest question for you?
The toughest question, there have been many.
Maybe just one.
So there have been a lot of questions where people, the biggest thing was, I think the toughest questions used to come when we started this thing, because software was something which people were not very comfortable with.
Absolutely.
I remember, as a personal example, I would remember that those were the times when the ATM cards had come into the play. But I remember my dad being very comfortable going to the bank and doing it, because that was something which was new for people to accept. But I think with time, how exactly the people have just gone forward, we are very much comfortable in answering those queries. So very strongly answering those queries.
So Mayank, I believe you too would be facing a lot of questions on installing softwares. You go to a corporate client, we cannot install this on our software, our policies do not allow us. How do you kind of tackle these issues?
Yeah, so typically, I'll give you the example of one client just 6 months back we have implemented. So client is from Delhi and they have an office in Ahmedabad. So they were used to do the physical meetings only due to the security concern. The data was, too much private, so they don't want to take any risk. So they come to us, we discuss with them for other projects. Then they said that we want to do VC, but because of the security concern, we cannot do, because over Wi-Fi, over internet, it is hackable. You can hack it. So then we go back to the basic. We find out that there is a technology called FSO, which is, transfer the data, do free space optics, which is, available free, and that data transfer to happen laser. So it is either your data is going or your data is not going. So typically for their client, we have, installed the FSO link between the two offices, and then, they are using video conferencing right now, and so this kind of challenges comes because, security is always going to be the major concern, but, people more and more are going to use the VC, and, they are going to find a way, like we did for this client typically.
Securities, challenges, opportunities, we talk about everything. But I personally feel at the end of the day, what is the most important thing is the user experience. I'm sure, Manu, you'd like to take that question, the aesthetics, the user experience, the ease of use. I believe from an end user perspective, when you look at it, that's the thing that is that counts the most.
That's the most important thing, at least from our perspective, because we, as I said, we are device manufacturers, and our USP is user experience. So the more intuitive a meeting can be, the more participative the meeting can be. That is where the productivity of the meeting lies. So if there are 5 people in the room and every one of them contributes towards the meeting, and the people who are sitting on the far side can actually communicate both verbal and non-verbal with those people sitting in the room, that is where our USP or our success or failure lies. So that's what we work day in, day out at NEAT. As I mentioned, NEAT symmetry is one part of it. Another USP is that we have brought in what we call as, again, it's part of AI also, we call as NEAT boundary. Boundary means that, a user can define the length and the breadth of the room. And once you define the length and the breadth of the room, any participant who's inside that boundary will get captured or highlighted to the far side. And that also holds true for the voice. So if a human body is outside of the boundary, and if he or she is speaking, the voice also will get suppressed, not only the video.
Nice.
So we emphasize a lot on the user experience as such. So the ease of use, as in how easily the meeting can be started, and how little intervention is required, how much we can automate the meeting. So those are the things that we keep working on.
I always feel video is something wherein, aesthetic plays a very important role. But Griffith, it's very difficult to define, or, I personally feel audio is a very underrated thing, and the ease of use in audio is even more important. What is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so as Manu said, Manu talked about the user interface. How much time does it get you to get into a meeting? What sort of connectivity? Is it a single touch to join? Or if it's a single USB connection, rather than figuring out 2 or 3 different cables, and you end up spending 10 minutes to start a meeting, which is, users are not happy with that. So that's the interface side of things. The aesthetical side of things brings up a major role. That's where in 2012, we brought in this idea of beamforming microphones, of picking up audio from a long distance, and doing beamforming technology to the meeting devices. That is innovation, and that has set a benchmark to the industry. So there are many players out there in the market today. So that brings the aesthetic look and feel, regardless of your position in the meeting room. It can be standing, seated, walking around, and expressing your thoughts in a meeting. That creates that experience, and being heard clearly to both, if it's a large room, being heard locally as well as to the far end. Technology has evolved with the ceiling microphone arrays, the beamforming, and particularly in ClearOne, we are on our 3rd generation technology on that segment alone. So that has definitely helped to overcome some of those concerns, or even for the integrators or the installers, the number of time or the number of hours that you spend in installing and configuring all the devices, everything is shortened. Like you can set up everything in less than an hour and come out of that room. So
I still remember my first install of a ClearOne ceiling microphone, and the architect came to me and said, "I don't want anything on the table."
yeah.
Right? So Mayank, on that note, we talk about end clients, we talk about OEMs, and we talk about everybody. But I think somebody who also plays a very important role as far as the aesthetics is concerned is the architect. How do you tackle that issue as a system integration company?
Yeah, so the most difficult person are architect for us, in any projects, and you are rightly said.
I hope there are none in the room.
And you are exactly rightly said. Whenever they come, their simple thing is they don't want our devices. They don't want any devices on the table. They don't want under the TV. They want room neat and clean. But yeah.
So I just want to add, if you come across a consultant, or architect next time, I can refer to a person who can solve that problem.
rightly said. So yeah, that is the demand is like that. But with the technology or the end user, because for end user it is not just the aesthetic of the room, but the actual use of for their daily business purposes. So for them, video conference is very, very important. So we have to be keep balance, between them and the end customer demand, and we have to go accordingly. So
yeah, you rightly said the balance is very important, where we kind of do things. But I think from PeopleLink's perspective, Abhishek, this is more to do with the ease of use rather than the aesthetics at any given point in time.
The ease of use is something which is definitely there. Aesthetics is also equally important. So what happens is, in terms of the software, it is much easier to work on the user interface and to make things more accessible. It becomes even further tougher when it comes to hardware, and it has got its own challenges which are there. But I think from a very software perspective, keeping that thing in mind, we have been able to achieve that. But the technology is available in today's time to make a lot of customizations which are needing the requirement, because there's no one single solution which fits all. So that's
very true. So there's no single solution that fits all, and that brings me to my next question is the integration of the UC and the video conferencing technologies with all the other emerging technologies that are available. So Abhishek, why don't you take a lead on that? Because I believe at PeopleLink it's all end-to-end solution that is provided. But do you guys also feel the need of integrating yourself with the other emerging technologies available in the market?
Right. So in this, we look at it from two perspectives. The first one was, I think, challenge at home, where we ourselves are hardware and software both. So we wanted to have that integration sorted first, because that's the key thing for us. Second was in terms of the integration with the external world. Now, that is where I think Mayank would agree that it is a lot easier when it comes to hardware to integrate, because you have necessary connectors, you have things which are available. Software, it becomes a challenge, but I think that is where the world is going towards. And there is a trend where, like the good old days of the legacy-based H.323 systems of video conferencing, where Poly used to talk to Cisco, Cisco used to talk to Avaya, Avaya used to talk to PeopleLink. Everybody was closely connected on H.323, which was governed by IETU. Probably the world is moving towards that democratization, where even the software is going to have that kind of a link between them. So that is where even we are working. That is where I think the entire products which are there are also moving.
Right.
Can I add something here?
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
All yours.
So yeah, right. And all the platform providers are actually working towards it. Even if you see right now also, there is something called interop on. If you are on Microsoft Teams, you can interop, or you can attend a Zoom meeting or a WebEx meeting. And if you're on Zoom, you can attend a Microsoft meeting, Microsoft Teams meeting, and you can attend WebEx meeting. And there are a whole host of, I think, a couple of other options also available. Blue Jeans is available. And now there are companies like Pexip who are already providing a cloud video integration in the cloud. So basically, they're handshaking various different clouds. You have to buy a subscription, of course. But if you have that subscription, if you've paid that money, then you can take your call to the cloud. And on the cloud, the Pexip software will integrate with all the other cloud video applications.
Yep. So Griffith, that brings me to my next question. They are talking all about, the video conferencing softwares and stuff like that. How important is to adopt the emerging technologies in audio as well, so that we have a seamless experience?
Yeah, so I just want to touch base on some of the integration side of things as well. We talked about interoperability between different systems out there in the market, and how we connect with different protocols. But there's also a bigger picture to that, as how do you integrate with this from a monitoring and management perspective? How are you integrating this with the building management systems? I mean, for the facilities or for the real estate, I mean, how do they see this place? I mean, how is the utilization? How do you integrate the utilization, and what's the ROI of these devices, of the meeting devices?
I believe that's more to do with the IoT side of the things, where
Correct.
you
yeah,
can
the
take
APIs,
data
integrations, and all of that.
But it is very important, very, very important these days now.
Correct. So a lot of discussions around that. I'm sure That's an area where integrations are happening a lot. Of course, there are integrations and interoperabilities on the other side, which is already discussed. For audio, yeah, integration of, think about having the ability to do real-life or real-time translations, real-time integration with things, and if you're able to, if you're sitting in Mumbai and if you're able to speak in one language, somebody sitting in Japan is able to respond in their own native language, and you're able to understand that. So those sort of things is pretty much part of the story going forward. Yeah, a lot of integration, so audio will play a key role. As I mentioned earlier, those sort of particular trained data for an individual will be critical, collecting that data and making use of to create that custom model to eliminate the unwanted things. So.
Right, right. I think, Smita, for next year, you have 2 panelists for the IoT discussion already here.
No, I just wanted to add here that
Yeah, sure.
IoT is already part of the NEAT devices. So we have sensors on all the devices, all the NEAT devices carry sensors. So you can monitor carbon dioxide level in the room. You can monitor the level of dangerous gases, number of people in the room, the temperature, and the utilization. So all of this data is captured on real-time basis.
Nice.
And then the reports can be fetched through the partner platform. So if you're using a Zoom platform, then you can fetch the report from the Zoom.
Again, AI and cloud would come and work hand in hand.
Yes,
in these
and the
kind of
APIs are open, and it can connect to any building management software. In fact, we have one published integration available. The software name is NeoVeet. It's again a Norwegian company. So they fetch data from NEAT devices, and then they make it available to any BMS solution that is there.
I think, thank you so much, all of you guys. We would like to take some questions from the crowd. I mean, from the audience, if anybody has any questions relevant to the UCVC technologies, I think our capable panelist here would like to answer them for you. Anything, any language is fine. We understand all of it. Wow, they were so good. Yeah, I think to sum it up all, we talk about technology, we talk about cloud, AI. All of this is helping us, reduce the cost, engage our customers more and more, give them the experience that they are looking for. And I think the only way forward is, to look for more and more integration, more and more evolvement of the UCVC technologies. I think thank you once again, Abhishek, Griffith, Mayank, and Manu, for sharing your insights on this beautiful conversation that we've had with you guys. And have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, panelists, for this wonderful session. It was really amazing. Now I would request Ms. Smita Rai to please hand over the token of appreciation. Audience, please give a huge round of applause for the wonderful session and our panelists.